Now to an issue that deserves far more attention than it received. It's a gender gap that is real and growing. It's the education gender gap, with boys trailing girls from primary school to university. But there appears to be little concern about correcting the imbalance. Girls are now outperforming boys in nearly every HSC subject. And one of the biggest areas of concern is literacy, where by year 9, boys trail girls by around 20 months. That's according to NAPLAN data, which also shows reading standards for this cohort fell to a record low. We now have around 13.5% of boys unable to read even at the minimum standard. For more than 3 decades, we've seen women outnumber men at Australian universities, but there appears to be little concern about correcting the imbalance. If the reverse were true, if men were outnumbering women at university since the 1980s, there would be an outcry. But no one in authority seems terribly troubled by the fact that an analysis by the University Admission Centre found that being male is greater than any of the other recognised disadvantages we looked at. We have a multitude of programs to correct the gender disparity in the few areas where male students do better, like engineering. There are great efforts to encourage greater female participation, with some universities even lowering entry requirements for girls to boost female representation. But there are few, if any, schemes to address the education gap for male students. Best-selling author and clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson has long argued that the decline in men's academic performance is bad not just for boys, but for society, and that the situation in educational institutions is far worse than the statistics indicate. He wrote, "There are whole disciplines in universities forthrightly hostile towards men." And this anti-male sentiment in academia can be demoralising for young males. The war against boys and masculinity is evident even in some boys' schools, with unrelenting messages about toxic masculinity and male privilege. Can you imagine the outrage again if the term toxic femininity was commonly used? We must stop treating young men like they're born guilty, or that their natural masculine instincts are detrimental to society. We have a great deal more to fear from weak, inept men than strong, capable ones.